Hi, my name is Linda Landry. I'm an attorney here at the Disability Law Center, and I want to give you some information about some important work incentives in the benefits that Social Security pays to young people with disabilities. You can find out more information about these important work incentives in the online transition manual. There's a link to additional information in one of the sections, and in addition we'll give you some more information a little bit later about other places you can look for more information. These rules are very complicated, and we can't get into all the details in this short video. So, did you know that the SSI program has work incentives that allow you to get some important work incentive to advance your career goals? SSI is a monthly benefit that Social Security pays to people who meet its disability standard and who are low income. There are several SSI work incentives that you can use if you receive this benefit. The first is that only about half of your gross monthly income will count against the SSI benefit that you can otherwise receive. So let's say you currently get $700 a month in SSI, and you find a job that pays $865 in gross wages in a month. SSI always considers your gross, not your net. So because SSA only counts about half of your gross monthly wages, only about $400 of that $865 will count against your SSI. This means, in this example, you'd still be eligible for about $300 in SSI while you have $865 in gross wages. So that's the first work incentive in the SSI program. Now, if you're under age 22 and you're regularly attending school or a training program designed to help you get back to work, you can take even more off of your gross monthly wages before they count against your SSI benefit. In 2012, you can take up to $1,700 in a month off your gross monthly wages before they count, up to a total of $6,800 in the calendar year. That's meant to allow young folks with disabilities to get the all-important early work experiences that'll help you advance in your career later on. In addition to these deductions, if you have out-of-pocket expenses that are related to your disability that you need in order to work, you can deduct those from your gross monthly wages. These are called impairment-related work expenses, or IRWEs. These could be things like job coaching that you have to pay for, or uncovered medical expenses, maybe transportation directly related to your disability, other mobility aids, anything related to your disability that you have to pay for out of pocket that isn't reimbursed by insurance or covered by your employer that you need in order to work can be a deduction from your gross monthly wages in a month when you are working. You do have to keep your receipts in order to take advantage of these deductions, and you have to provide it to Social Security to make sure they give you the proper deductions. Now, if you're legally blind and you receive SSI, there are additional deductions that you can take. These are called blind work expenses. There's a list of these deductions that you can take that aren't necessarily related to disability. They include things like transportation, they include your taxes and your lunches at work, and guide dog expenses if you have that expense. So these are important deductions that young people who receive SSI who are legally blind can take when they're working. Finally, if you need to save money for a vocational goal, you can use a program to achieve self-support. This is called a PASS. You might have heard about this. The reason for the PASS is that SSI recipients can't really save very much money because of that $2,000 asset limit that you have to meet to be eligible. So a PASS allows SSI recipients to have a written plan, something they need to achieve, a vocationally achievable goal. You have to be able to put some detail into the plan. You have to say what money you've got to save to meet your goal, and what expenses you're going to need, and you have to get SSA to approve it first before you can start to use it. But it can be a good resource if For instance, you have a job that isn't your career, gives you a little money, you could put your earnings into the PASS once it's approved by Social Security and save your wages. They wouldn't count against your SSI, and as long as you follow the PASS exactly, you can use it to meet your vocational goals. Well, what if you don't receive SSI? What then? Well, some young people with disabilities don't receive SSI when they're under age 18 because the income and assets of their parents count towards their SSI eligibility. But once you're age 18, only your own income and assets count. So a lot of young folks with disabilities who weren't eligible under age 18 can be eligible starting at age 18. But you do have to apply at Social Security to get things going. Some folks don't receive SSI. They might be receiving the Social Security disability insurance. If you are age 18 or older and you have worked and paid the FICA taxes for long enough, you could be eligible for an SSDI benefit. This is not a needs-based benefit. It's not like SSI. It has completely different rules about what happens when you go back to work. Similarly, if you're age 18, you could be receiving what's called the child disability benefit on a parent's wage record. And this also uses the same work incentive rules as the SSDI benefit, which again are completely different than the SSI work rules. So what are the work rules for SSDI and the child disability benefit? Well, with these benefits, you have an initial period of 9 months of something called trial work. For these 9 months, if you work, your wages do not affect your benefit at all. You only get one period of 9 months in any period of disability, and once those 9 months have been used, you enter into another period called the re-entitlement period, or the extended period of eligibility. This period is 36 months long, and whether or not you get your benefit in any of these 36 months depends on how much money you make. Currently, if you make more than $1,010 in gross wages in a month, and if you get SSDI or child disability benefits, you're not eligible for your benefit payment in that month. But you can go back and forth on benefit payment eligibility without having to file a new application in these 36 months. Now, if you are eligible on the basis of legal blindness, then the amount of money you can make and still be eligible for your benefit is $1,690 in 2012. These wage amounts change every year, so you have to pay attention to that, and we can tell you how you can get more information about that in a few minutes. You have to be aware, however, when you work, whether you get SSI or SSDI or the child disability benefit, that when you work, you must report your wages to Social Security. And you must do it any time your wages change. Sometimes you have to do it every month. The reason to do this is to avoid overpayments. When you report work, Social Security can adjust your benefit in a timely manner so that you don't get overpaid. Now, a lot of people wonder whether you'll still be eligible for public health benefits like Medicaid when you work, and the answer is generally yes. If you receive any amount of SSI in Massachusetts, you are automatically eligible for the Massachusetts Medicaid program. We call this Mass Health. And if you make too much money to be eligible for a cash SSI payment, you're probably still going to remain eligible for SSI through either the 1619B program or through Mass Health Common Health for disabled working adults. If you receive SSDI, you're likely to remain eligible for the Medicare that comes along with that benefit for many months, even if you work your way off of the benefit after your 36-month period of re-entitlement, as long as you continue to meet the disability standard. Well, what if you lose your job? Well, you have to reapply for benefits and go through that again. Often it's not necessary to reapply for benefits. If you receive SSI and you become ineligible for a cash payment because of your wages, you can usually get back on if you haven't been ineligible for 12 consecutive months. And with SSDI, if you work your way off of benefits through the trial work period and then the extended period of eligibility, Social Security has created something called the expedited reinstatement, which allows you to get back on faster if you again need the benefit due to the same disability that you were previously allowed for. And this exists for SSI as well. Now there's also the ticket to work, and there's a lot of misunderstanding about what the ticket to work is. The Ticket to Work Act created the ticket in 1999, and the idea is that the ticket is really a promise to pay a provider for vocational services that you need to get back to work. The Mass Rehab Organization is a provider, and there are other private providers as well. People who are age 18 through 64 who are eligible as an adult for disability benefits, whether it's SSI or SSDI, are eligible for a ticket. It's voluntary whether or not you use the ticket. Use of the ticket doesn't change the work incentives that we just talked about, and you can use the work incentives that we just talked about without using your ticket. But if you want to use your ticket, you shop around with participating providers to see if they can meet your needs and if you can agree to work together. You then work out a service plan, and as long as you work through your service plan and meet your goals and go back to work, the provider will get paid. That's the way it works. If you want more information about the ticket, you can go to Social Security's website, www.ssa.gov/work, and that'll get you into a lot more information about where you can go to see about using the ticket. There's also free benefits counseling available through a couple of organizations. If you're already a Mass Rehab consumer, you can get benefits counseling assistance through Project Impact. You can see information about Project Impact on the web at www.mass.gov/MRC. For all others, there's free benefits counseling assistance available through an organization called BenePlan, and they're at www.beneplan.org. Both of these organizations provide benefits counseling assistance to SSI and SSDI recipients who are working and who need information about the effect of work on their benefits, or who are planning to work and need information about the effect of work on their benefits, and or who want to know how to use their ticket and where they can get other employment-related services. I hope this information is helpful to you. And be sure to look for more information through the link to the Going to Work booklet in the transition manual. Thank you.